Another example of a huge difference between the critic's opinion and the audience opinion. This is sitting in the 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience. However, critics have it down in the low 30s. And as usual, the truth with this critic lies somewhere in the middle. Let's talk about the Apple TV Plus miniseries, The Crowded Room. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the miniseries The Crowded Room. This is available, all 10 episodes on Apple TV Plus, and it stars Tom Holland and Amanda Seyfried, among some other people you will recognize. But before we launch into the specifics of this, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thanks for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I try to post something new. So always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing, like this video, comment down below. All of that, of course, does help the channel out. All right, Tom Holland, obviously, a huge star right now, and he's worked with Apple TV before. He did at least one movie for them a couple of years ago. Was it called Cherry? I think it was, or something Cherry. But anyway, he might have done a second movie for them as well. He's done a few of the streaming movies. I think maybe they were both for Apple TV Plus. But in any event, here he plays Danny Sullivan, and this is based on a real-life person named Billy Milligan, so definitely some similarities there, but they didn't want to go directly for the genuine article, so they gave him a different name, but some of the circumstances are the same about this crime spree in the late 70s, and Amanda Seyfried plays a detective that's interrogating him, and we flash back. Most of this really is set in flashback, but we go back and forth from the, not really present day, but from the interrogation, which was a couple of years later, through, some things in his upbringing, and we sort of peel back some layers and figure out what exactly might be going on with this character, which I don't want to tip my hat to. I only sort of vaguely know what's going on because of the real story, the real case. You may not be familiar, but so I watched 3 episodes of this, and they don't really reveal much of that portion, like what's actually going on. It's really a lot of buildup, and when I say a lot, I think perhaps that is what one of the big problems with this show is, that its pacing is quite slow. But in any event, you also have Emmy Rossum here as Billy's mom, Candy Sullivan. Jason Isaacs is in here. You may know him. But this was created for television by Akiva Goldsman. And he is the filmmaker that brought us things like I, Robot, A Beautiful Mind. I believe he did the Da Vinci Code films as well, at least 1 or 2 of them. He had a hand in some of the Star Trek Picard TV shows. So he's done a lot of really interesting things. A lot kind of in the sci-fi realm. But in the past, let's say 20 years or so. And so he has brought this, true life story sort of based on this Billy Milligan person to Apple TV Plus. So Tom Holland, look, really trying to, I think, stretch his acting chops with some of the recent things that we've been seeing. Obviously, he's best known for Spider-Man as part of the Marvel Universe, as part of his own films, etc. But he is attempting, I think, to, go maybe like the Daniel Radcliffe route, to really do some interesting things to separate him from the character, that he's so known by. And not that either of those guys, Radcliffe embraces all the Harry Potter stuff too, but he didn't want to be sort of pigeonholed. And I get that from Tom Holland as well. He's doing a lot of different movies, a lot of really dramatic movies and shows as well. And this is an example of that. This is, kind of a psychological drama, or maybe thriller even. So far, it's not too thrilling, but as we move along and I think get deeper into the aspect of the crimes being committed, I think we may get into more thriller territory, let's say. But yeah, the pacing is by far the biggest issue of this show. There's no reason that this is needing to be 10 episodes long, because I'm 3 episodes in, and they're all not quite an hour, but, between like 45 and 55 minutes. So, normal TV drama length, I guess, with commercials, it would be stuffed to an hour. But the pacing here is just terrible. There are several scenes that I could point to just in these first few episodes that could have been way trimmed down. In episode 2 specifically, there's like this club scene, and I'm just like, this could have been about 1 minute as opposed to 6 or whatever it was. And I think that really is a trademark of this show, because everything that happens in these first 3 episodes, we could have gotten that in probably 2 or less, maybe an episode and a half. And that, I think, I've said this before with a lot of the miniseries sort of models on streaming services. They want to just get those eyeballs on the different, content streams, and, this many minutes means it's a success or whatever. But you can tell a story in 6 episodes, I promise you. And this is a perfect example of that. Because other than that, some of the other aspects are quite good. I think the kind of back and forth between the Holland character and Seyfried's interrogator, I think those are good. Again, they're kind of keeping us at bay with what exactly is happening. And if you know anything about the story behind it, it won't come as a shock. I'm not sure exactly when that big reveal is going to happen in this particular series, but that didn't affect my enjoyment of the series. It just everything really should have just been moving quicker. And we see a lot of the flashback stuff. Like I said, most of this does take place kind of in that flashback era, as when he's, like in high school and in his late teens, early 20s. We see a lot of that stuff, him sort of forming bonds and leaving home and sort of disrupting some things in his life, in other people's lives. Episode 2 is the one for me that was like, okay, I get why there's this big difference between critics and audiences here. I thought episode 2 could have been probably 15 or 20 minutes instead of 45. Like, that's about how much story there was. Episode 1, good, a lot of setup there. But episode 2, I really felt like, okay, we're just kind of dragging our feet on this storytelling here. And so that is by far my biggest complaint with this. But Holland's performance, is good. It's not great. I have yet to see the non-Spider-Man performance from him that's great. Maybe it was Billy Elliot when he did that on Broadway. I don't know. But so far in all of his movies and shows, I really, even like Uncharted, which was, a fun movie. It wasn't very original, but him and Mark Wahlberg, they had like a fun back and forth. But I can't say that nobody else could have done that role or something, Here, I do think he's maybe trying to spread his dramatic wings a little bit more than perhaps we've seen in some other things, but it still just is not quite enough for me. And in terms of the pacing, of course, that is the real downer of this, critique of this show. I think they really, really could have narrowed that down from 10 episodes to probably about 6 or 7. But all right, I leave The Crowded Room with a C. And you can watch that on Apple TV Plus. Right now, all 10 episodes are up for your streaming pleasure. All right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.